నమః. హరి ఓం. శ్రుతిస్మృతిపురాణానామాలయం కరుణాలయం నమామి భగవత్పాదశంకరం. ఓం నమో భగవతే రమణాయ. ఆరభ్యతే జీవజగత్పరాత్మతత్వాభిధానేన మతం సమస్తం. So you prefer to say like that instead of saying Jiva Jagat Paratma, like that. It's a samasa, There is no dirgham and it should be continuous. You may not want to break it there. Or you may say Arab, you may say one more time. Arabhyate Jiva Jagat Paratmatatvabhidhanena matam samastam idam trayam yavadaham mati syat. There also there is a trick. Many people say yavadaham mati syat, like that they say. So that becomes 2s, 2sa, means one visarga. There is no visarga. That's why arabhyat idam trayan yavadaham mati. That is a hrasva. You should not make it dirgham. People, where dirgham is there, they make it hrasva. Where hrasva is there, they make it dirgham. Like Saraswati namastubhyam, wrong. Saraswati namastubhyam. Sarvottamaham matishunya nishtha. Arabhyate means it begins. That is how it begins. Only it begins. That is not the conclusion. That is not the culmination. Only beginning. Okay? What? Matam samastam. Samastam matam arabhyate. Samastam matam arabhyate means samastani matani arabhyante. Okay? Both are one and the same. So, all matas begin this way. They do not conclude that way or culminate that way. They only begin this way. All matas. What is mata? You see, dhatu is manu avabodhane. Manu, who is idvarna? Man. Ta it is. Pratyayam. Man, ta. Anunasika lopa. Mata. Then sup matam. So, an opinion. A thought. Not just some stray thought. An opinion. So, matam is an opinion. But the time the Maharshi was living and the Kavya Kanda Ganapati Muni made this Kavya or this Prakarana, there are many religions around. Already the Christianity, Islam, etc. have entered the country and they were well established also. And they became rather important or prominent religions as part of the Indian social milieu. Already that is there. Then within the Indian society, under the canopy of Hinduism, there are many sub-religions. Hinduism is like a United Nations of religions. There are many sub-religions. And these religionists within the word Hindu, they love and they hate each other as much as they do with other religionists. That is also there. For example, in the medieval period, the Shaiva, Vaishnava divisions and the fights, the conflicts were endless, very bitter. So all that. Okay. Therefore, so many religions are there. In that sense, the word matam, the word started a new meaning also. It gained a new meaning also, meaning of the religion. In South, If you come to north, they don't call religion as mata, they call dharma. You look at that. Dharma has a somewhat better or a wider meaning, But in Hindi, dharma, they make it that the syllables are rearranged. Dharma becomes dharam, that I is pushed there, and dharam. Sayukta aksharas put a vowel in between. Dharam or dharma. It means religion. Look at that. What a meaning it is. So, therefore, the government has nothing to do with dharma. How does it sound to you? The government, they say, we don't have any connection with the dharma. That means what? Adharma. So this is how the words acquire a different connotation, and sometimes the connotation is not very good also. So the word mata is also like that. It was an opinion. Mata. Then gradually it became a school of thought. Mata. And finally it ended up as a religion. A belief system. Shri Krishna uses the word mata. Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. This is my opinion, dear Arjuna. In my opinion, people call of knowledge, people that flaunt the word knowledge, knowledge. Like God. There is no godliness, but say God 10 times a day. Similarly, say knowledge 10 times. Flaunt it. You know what is flaunting? They don't know without knowing anything. So, the point is, Shri Krishna doesn't say mama mata. This is my opinion. That is what he says. What is his opinion there? You see, knowledge, what people call knowledge, many things are given the title knowledge because it is a very, very powerful title. Once you call something knowledge, that becomes sacred. That becomes truth. Like that. So in my opinion, Shri Krishna says, there is one understanding, which I call knowledge. And what is that? This understanding that kshetra, idam shariram kshetra, and the one who knows the kshetra. Who is that one that knows the kshetra? He doesn't specify. He keeps it open. He explains the kshetra very elaborately and very precisely. What is the kshetra? Mahabhutanyahankaraha, etc. So the kshetra, the field, he precisely explains it. In fact, he says very categorically that idam shariram is the kshetra. Like that he begins and expands upon it and explains what is the kshetra. This kshetra which is gross, like Mahabhutana, etc. And very subtle also, like ahankara, ichha, dveshaha, sukham, dukkham, etc. So all that outer, panchabhutas and the inner, the mind and its movement, all of this is described in good detail and said it is a kshetra. Then the one who knows it, the one who is aware of it. So that is a kshetrajna. He doesn't call him either jiva or ishvara. He doesn't use any of these words. You can use kshetrajna, can be called jiva provisionally, no harm. Jiva word is coming, I will explain it. And a kshetrajna is ishvara, because he says kshetrajnan chapi mam vidhi. You understand, I am the kshetrajna as myself. So Ishvara is speaking, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, and therefore kshetrajna is Bhagavan. That you can easily infer that. But from his side, Shri Krishna leaves the word kshetrajna. Even the chapter is not called kshetra ishvara vibhaga, or kshetra jiva vibhaga. It is called kshetra kshetrajna vibhaga. Vibhaga is the discrimination or distinction. Therefore, you look at that openness, that he doesn't close anything. He leaves it open. The one who knows the kshetra, the one who is aware of the kshetra. So, this discrimination or discernment. Here is the kshetram, and I am the one who is aware of the kshetra. Who is a kshetrajna? You look at your kshetra, you look at your body. Now who is looking at your body? Somebody, the neighbor is looking at your body. You are looking at your body. So you are the kshetrajna. I am the kshetrajna. Then how come I am Ishvara? Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi. You have to find out. So this is the approach. This seeing. In the same chapter, Shri Krishna is about to say, Yaf pashyati sapashyati. Yaf pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. He is going to say. So this seeing, the word seeing sounds more powerful than knowing. Knowing can be anything. See, Lord Vishnu is in Vaikuntha now. That is also knowledge. Not like that. Seeing. So, closer to that vision. So the seeing. So, the one who sees clearly this distinction. Here is the body-mind, this body, this mind, and I am aware of it all the time. So while being aware of the body-mind, how come I end up identifying with the body-mind? How come I say me the body or my body? How come I say me the mind? Nobody says like that. Nobody says me the body, but everybody identifies with every single label given to the body. Nobody says me the body, but everybody says my caste is Vaishya, or my caste is Shudra, or my caste is this, that, Brahmana. The caste is a label given to the body based on birth. And also my birthday. What do you mean by my birthday? You should at the best say, sir, today is the date of birth of this body. Please come, we are arranging a function. Please come and attend. You should say that. And the Mahatmas and religious heads who are celebrating these birthdays on a huge scale, thereby presenting a very bad model before the devotees, they should also print an invitation. They print invitation on a glossy paper with a lot of cost. They print it. In that they say, this body which is already 75-year-old was born on this date, on that year. It is not born today. Today is birthday. Why? How can you say it is birthday today? It was born 75 years back. What is this tamasha? So means every 365 days a cycle, therefore today is the 75th time this blessed thing is rotating. And therefore all of you come and look at this body. I am also looking at it. That is how you should print the paper. So that the discrimination is maintained. The discernment is maintained. Idam shariram. Idam shariram. अरे अहम शरीरम मत बोलो भाई, इदम शरीरम, इदंताक्रांतम शरीरम. So this seeing, this understanding, if you want to call anything knowledge, you call this knowledge. Yatajna, that yet, that gives an emphasis to the expression. Yet jnanam tat jnanam. Whatever knowledge which is in this form, the understanding of this discernment, whatever you have, if you have it, that I would prefer to call it jnanam. This is my opinion. Matam mama. So in fact I wanted to describe matam, but in a connected way, a little digression and described a few other things. And so this is the matam. Matam, my opinion. Then I do not exactly remember, but if not that place, someplace else, Shankara told, Bhagavan's matam cannot be just an opinion, it should be taken as siddhantaha. Whether Shankara said it or some Tikakara said it, they said it. And that is the fair thing to say also. Therefore, if Einstein says, this is how I feel, this is my opinion, so you should take it as a gospel truth. So in physics, similarly, Whatever Sri Krishna says about human existence, so that should be taken as a gospel truth about human existence. So that's why we say matam siddhantaha. That is how the word is used. But later the matam became, it has acquired a new connotation and it has become, of course it is opinion. So from this, one thing can be understood. What is called mata, the religion today, in that sense it is used, it is merely an opinion. That is the point I wanted to extract from it. Okay, from the standpoint of that, those people who follow the mata, they don't call it opinion, they call it siddhantaha, the conclusion. So they say, nobody says, suppose Vaishnavas say, let us say, do they say we are following a particular method of worship, let us say a religion, and this religion happens to be the opinion of that Acharya, the original Acharya. Do they say like that? They don't say like that. They say this is the truth. That is how they say. So how can belief be a truth? You can begin the search for the truth with a belief. Arabhyate. Maybe that is how you begin. That is how we all began. In our childhood we started a beginning already. In India that is how it happens. So maybe they come to the religion in the middle ages or in the youth, whatever. But in India we come into it because in India the religion is the mainstream. Therefore we come into the religion since the childhood. So matam samastam. So now let me digress a little and say matam, religion. That must be the sense in which Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni used it. Because from the period in which he composed, this is how I feel. Okay? So, you can say Siddhantaha, the Tikakara. Tikakara is a Kapala Shastri who wrote a Tika, called Bhashya also. He said the Siddhantaha Dvaitadaya Ityarthaha. So that means, in a way, he is also talking of a particular belief system. All belief systems, all religions in that general sense, this is how they begin. Now, how they begin, I will come to it. But before coming to that, now, we are looking at matam, religion. Now, religion, there are two religions. Okay? Broadly speaking. One is the religion of the masses, the popular religion. And then there is another religion called a true religion. So that means what? The popular religion could have certain elements of truth, but as students of Vedanta, we cannot follow the popular religion in toto. You have to examine it, and you have to see the elements which are compatible with the pursuit of knowledge or pursuit of truth that we are undertaking. And so such elements we have to adopt. And then our understanding, our practice of religion, and our preaching, because quite often we people preach also, preach or teach, whatever name you give to it, all that must help the masses to look at their religion, the religion that they are practicing. We should encourage them to look at the religion they are practicing. That way we should encourage. Suppose we follow their religion, what encouragement do you give to them? So, we have to look at the way we are approaching this religion. Instead of just following it blindly in the name of tradition, we have to examine it. All the time you have to examine. For example, belief. If matam is religion, then what is religion? Is belief religion? We have to ask that. Or you don't want to ask? Please tell me. If you don't want to ask, I too don't want to ask. Well, why should I bother? Do you want to ask? Do you want to question? So then I am asking you on your behalf. Is belief religion? Just don't answer. Don't answer. Don't answer any question. Let the question incubate. So, is belief religion? You see, you look at me, I raised the question. You don't find me in a hurry to answer it. You see, the Christians believe in one way. The Hindus believe in another way. The Muslims believe in another way. The Buddhists believe in still another way. Buddha, did he start a religion? I don't know. But there is a religion called religion in his name. Christ, did he start the religion? I am not sure. I think he did not start a religion. But there is a religion in his name. So, there are religions like Vaishnava, Shaiva, they are not after the name of an individual. In fact, it is said there is only one religion in India, born in India, after the name of a person, and that is Buddhism. That is also said. That speaks something glorious about the Indian nation, that there are many religions, but they are not named after a person. That is something great. But nowadays, I have seen an unhappy development in which the Vedantic tradition is started after names of people. You look at that. A society which has given birth to multiple religions, religion means a method of worship, a particular upasana paddhati, method of worship, without resorting to the name of a person, unlike elsewhere. It starts Vedantic teaching and gives, and then make a hedge-like arrangement, and start giving the name of a person. Now, do you find it's a happy or a healthy development? I suppose not. Anyway, so the Buddhists believe in still another way. And all of them consider themselves very religious people. They do not consider themselves as we have this particular belief, they have that belief. Nobody thinks like that. Everybody thinks we are very religious people. They all have their temples. They all have their gods, their symbols, and their beliefs. And is that religion? So, in the first place, how such a belief came into existence or came into our lives? Like I follow a religion, and most of it seems to be belief. Some of it could be more, maybe better than belief, but most of it is belief. And I follow the symbols, and I have my own temples, my own gods and all that. How come this religion came into my life? If you look at it carefully, you have to say, we believe the way we believe because my father and mother believed so. Not mother that much, father. When it comes to religion, it is always the father. When it comes to some nice, tasty food, it is the mother. Religion is the father. My mother was asking me, are you doing Sanjyavandan nowadays? Amma, I say, Amma, you don't ask that question. Come on, you give me a cup of tea. Okay. That is mother. Father is, did you do Sanjyavandan today morning? Yes, I have done. I don't think so. You are telling a lie. He is not telling a lie. I was only telling a lie. So this way, father is religion. And more than father, grandpa is religion. His grandpa, who is still around, he should have gone to an ashram by now. Earlier it was Vanaprastha. He should have gone to the forest. But now where are forests? There are no forests. But there are few ashrams where inside there are a few trees and plants. Therefore that can be taken as a forest. And the grandpa should have gone to the forest by now. He doesn't go. He doesn't go. So, sometimes there was a gentleman. He was telling me, we have to protect Varna and Ashrama. Then I said, no, I agree with you. You protect the other way. You protect ashrama and varna. First protect ashrama. What is that? Now what ashrama you are in? Grahastha. What is your age? 60. Now you protect ashrama. What is the next ashrama? Vanaprastha. Now you protect that first. Then you can protect varna. They are very clever. Very cunning, I tell you. They don't want to protect ashrama varna. They want to protect varna ashrama. It is easy, you know. So, anyway, therefore, the grandfather believed, father believed, therefore I believe. Mothers do not push the beliefs that much. I don't know whether mothers believe that much also. Poor mother, she was following it because the father is following it. So, anyway, you see, the point is, you just believe what grandfather said or father said, or sometimes what some guru said, or sometimes even what some book said. This is how we come into the religion, which is just mere belief. The point that I am making is, you do not examine clearly. This verse is about examining clearly. That is this, all this background I am giving is to inspire. The verse is trying to inspire us to examine. You examine. So you try to find out what is true. Nothing wrong that you start the life with a belief, which is another name for religion. Nothing wrong. But you try to find out. There is another point that you may want to find out. If you want to come to true religion, in contrast to the religion of the masses, you want to find out. What is it that you want to find out? Belief, which you may call religion, divides people. Now, why should we be concerned about it? That must be government's lookout. To unite people or to keep people together. That must be government thing. Why you and I are concerned? No, government has a different perspective about it. They may have to do that probably, but we have to think about it, because we have to be the goal that arambha it is. Belief is only arabhyate. Matam arabhyate. Our goal is, you start something and that is not the end of it. That is only the beginning. We have a goal before us. What is the goal? Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha sarvam khalvidam brahma ayam atma yedidam sarvam. The sarvatma bhava. All existence is one, and the I am that one. Aham brahmasmi. This is our goal. You subscribe to that goal. Whether you subscribe or not, you declare from the rooftop that it is my goal. You declare that. I am a Vedantin. Then you should certainly examine the belief. Because belief divides people. So, like let's say Christianity. The Christians have certain belief system. They have certain beliefs, and therefore they are divided from those of other beliefs. And they are divided among themselves also. Protestants, Catholics, and among Catholics also, followers of Mother Mary, followers of Christ, followers of God. Like that, where the focus is. Like in our own religion, they say Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, then some worship Vishnu, and some people move away from all these three groups and they start Ammavaru Bolke, they go in a different direction. Mother, universal mother. At least in that sense they are showing some respect to the womanhood. We should appreciate that. They may not be so kind to the women in other areas. Therefore, all these are worth examining. So, if you look at the Hindus, they seem to be everlastingly full of hostility, among themselves, because they believe themselves to be Brahmins, non-Brahmins, Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, this, that, Vaishnavas, Shaivas. They seem to be everlastingly confronting each other. The society seems to be very heterogeneous and confrontational. A major part of it is provided by the religious beliefs within the Hindu society. And of course, there is a constant conflict going on between Hindus and non-Hindus within the subcontinent of India. Therefore, belief seems to bring enmity, division, destruction. And this division, hostility, conflict, confrontation, is that a true religion? We have to think of it. Therefore, because in true religion, the reality, the truth, whatever name you give to it, that is the God. And that is all-inclusive. And nothing is other than that. And all these divisions, separation, the multiplicity, the variety, the name you give to it is Jagat, is unreal. And therefore, arabhyate, no harm. You start where you started, but you are advised to, or you are encouraged to certainly examine all these things. Arabhyate samastam matam. Only that much I have explained. Now, how do they start all of them? So the Maharshi, and of course the languages of the Kavya Kantha Ganapati Muni, they examine all these religions. The approach is different. The approach is not subscribe to one religion, and so this is what it is, this is the truth, and this is all, and all other religions are not important or not correct. This is the only religion, and therefore I am that religionist. That is not how the Maharshi looks at the situation. That is not how he proceeds, like probably some of us like to do that way, but Maharshi doesn't seem to proceed like that. He says, he looks at all the religions and comes out with one common point. These religions, they are different, their beliefs are different, their temples are different, their books are different, their gurus are different, their customs are different. But in one aspect, they are all same. This is a good way of approach. It's a very Catholic approach. Catholic in the sense, a very broad-minded approach it is. So, leave aside these outer trappings of beliefs, customs, ceremonies, celebrations. Now, I have said a few controversial things already, and so one more thing I am adding. So the ceremonies and celebrations, are they religion? Ceremonies and celebrations, are they religion? So, we people have to examine all this. And not only examine, if we declare that we are teachers, acharyas, we put a title before our name, acharya. Before acharya and ananda. Acharya, blank, 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 ananda. So then we have a responsibility to examine these things and provide a very balanced opinion. And that is what the Maharshi is doing. So, all these religions have one thing in common. You see, the vision you see, it is a uniting vision. Areyappa, all of you consider yourself of different religions and fight among yourselves. In a way, all of you have one thing in common. What is that? You see, Swami Ramatirtha told a story. Three people are fighting. Let me make it three. You can say four also. Three people are fighting. The Mahatma goes and asks them, why are you fighting? You see, we are thirsty And therefore, I say, pani eliminates thirst, whereas these two people don't agree. Then the other man says, how can he say pani eliminates thirst? It is tanir which eliminates thirst. How can he talk like that? And the third man says, both are wrong. They don't know anything. Only aqua can eliminate thirst. That is the third man says. This is the story of Ramatirtha. It sounds a bit hollow, but the significance is deep. Then the Mahatma says, okay, I will solve your problem. He calls one of them, asks the other two people, wait outside, takes inside and gives him water and asks, what is the aqua? Okay, drink it. He's thirsty, poor guy, he is thirsty. Okay, drink it. He's satisfied and comes out with a beaming face. And then he calls the other and puts some sweet, nice water, cold water before him, cool water before him, and asks him, what is this? Pani. Thirsty, yeah, drink it. Same thing with the third person. Hey, what is this? Tanir. Come out. And again they start fighting themselves. So, Vaishnavas, Shaivas, Christians, Muslims, I tell you, as far as the religion is concerned, they are like those three guys. All of them are pursuing the same, but only the customs, the names, the nomenclature, the outer trappings only different. Interesting, you know. Therefore, all these religions or religious sects or all these siddhantas, they are talking of only one thing. And what is that? Jiva Jagat Paratma Tattva Abhidhanena. They proclaim or they define three elements, a triad or three vertices of a triangle. Every religion is a triangle. All religions are triangle only. Not that certain religions are triangles and certain religions are rectangles. No. All are triangles with the three vertices. One vertex is the person. Jiva. Jiva is, strictly speaking, Jiva is not the person, but provisionally you may take Jiva as the person. Jiva pranadharane. What is Jiva? Jiva is, Shankara also uses the word Jiva in the sense of pranadharana. But what happened is, in the Puranic context, in the way the people follow the religion, Jiva is translated as person. The person, if you translate Jiva as individual, probably you are okay. Because individual is something like indivisible. Therefore, though you may call Jiva provisionally as though a separate entity, ultimately it will merge. Therefore, individual. So, but if you call Jiva a person, that could be a misleading translation. That is how people take. Even in Hindu religion, Jiva is born. The word Jiva doesn't mean anything by birth. It doesn't have anything to do with birth. Birth is strictly applied to the physical body. And Jiva doesn't mean physical body. Jiva pranadharane. That is the Panini's dhatu pata. And so, you take it as person and immediately ask what was the earlier birth, what is the next birth. You fall into this birth thing. And then says a transmigration of the soul. Of course it is there. But it is not there. In a religion, all these elements will be there. In fact, in religion, the beliefs based on birth and death occupy a central part of the religion. Every religion. Therefore, you go into that thing, that flow. But the word Jiva is that factor or that element, Tattva, that element or that principle, not principle, that principle which keeps all the sense organs and the mind together. Prana. Pranaha indriyaha. Indriyani. Pranaha indriyani. So mind is also indriya, antarindriya. So the mind, the five sense organs, the five organs of action, these 11, they are held together in a unit called physical body. You need a physical body to keep them together and functional. And that which makes this possible is called jiva. So, if you look at the word jiva correctly, there is no reason to assume that jiva is separate from that cosmic power. There is no reason. Because it is that power which pervades all, both without and within, which moves all, within and without. That is that power, cosmic power. And therefore, what is keeping this body-mind together, why should it be different from the cosmic power? It is not. Like the electricity which makes this bulb glow is not different from the national grid. It is not different. Only it appears different. If you are accustomed, if you are habituated to look at it different, as separate, then you end up seeing it as separate. But it is not separate. You better correct your way of looking at it. Your way of thinking you correct. It is not separate. That's why jivenatma anupravishya. There are pravesha shrutis. It's a big topic. The shrutis, multiple shrutis which talk of entry, pravesha. So who entered here? Who entered into this? Something must have entered here. Like electricity enters the bulb and it starts glowing. So what is it that entered here? What is it entered? Jagatkaranam Brahma entered here. Sa esha eha pravishtaha. That is the Brahadaranyaka aham brahmasmi. So tat sruštva tadeva anupravishat. Who? Brahma. Brahma. Satyam jnanamanantam Brahma tat sruštva tadeva anupravishat. How pravishat? Jivenatmana anupravishya. Jivena rupena. Atmana mane rupena. Not Sachidananda Atma. Jivena rupena pravishya. Anu means paschat. Having created, afterwards, entered. Now that trutiya, itham bhuta lakshana trutiya, as, in English it is as. Trutiya, as. So as the jiva it entered. If you understand that expression correctly, there is no reason to think jiva as separate from Ishvara. No need that cosmic power. No need to think like that. But anyway, sthitasya gatis chintaniya, that the people, they take it as separate. And therefore, arabhyate. Always arabhyate. Not paryavasiyate. Paryavasana will come later. Arambha. Therefore, jiva, apparently an independent, separate entity. Don't say independent, separate entity. Apparently separate entity. You see, this is a personal trait, I suppose. I am not comfortable in saying jiva separate, para-atma separate, paramatma separate. So every religion starts with the three elements separate from each other. You don't feel like saying it right away. But anyway, that is how it is taken to begin with. To begin with, arabhyate. So jiva. Jiva is an individual. If you convert it into a person with a birth and death, earlier birth, later birth and all that, then you have created one more obstacle before the truth. You have put another hurdle, they run hurdle running. So one more hurdle is put. Now you have to cross that. You have to jump over it. Therefore, jiva, the individual. Okay, if you want to call it person, without going so much into the rigor of it, call it the person. You and I. That is one element of the triangle, one vertex. The second vertex is paratma. You see, paratma, same as paramatma. Okay. Para or Parama, one and the same, the Supreme Self. What is the Supreme here? You see, here is the body-mind. The moment you say I, this body-mind is there. As a huge hurdle, it is there. Unless you cross that body-mind hurdle, you do not arrive at the real I. And so much so, everybody ends up taking the body-mind as himself or herself. Atma, myself, the body-mind. That is how people take. You see, you come to the Vedanta, take yourself as the body-mind on day 1, okay. Day 10, chalo. Day 100, still the same. You are not studying properly. 1,000, 10,000, still the same. Then you are not studying any Vedanta. You see, the first things first. The very first hurdle that you have to cross is the identification with the body-mind. And because that has become such a serious hurdle, and people find it difficult to cross. So, and they call themselves as Atma even while badly identifying with the body-mind. You needed to have another term for that cosmic reality, and another term is Paratma or Paramatma, the Supreme Self. You are the Supreme Self. This Supreme Self nomenclature is like pure ghee. In India, here pure ghee is sold. Okay, I went to US and there I watched the Walmart. The Walmart is my tourist destination. In fact, I was going for a small walk. Somebody is going, Swamiji, how are you? Oh, I am fine. Do you want to come? Where are you going? Walmart. Okay, I am coming. I don't have anything to purchase in Walmart. For 2 reasons I go. It is a tourism destination and it is a good walk for me inside. Because it's so huge. It's a town inside. So I went Walmart. There is one section. They are all ghee. I was looking for pure ghee, but I don't find it. Then I asked, what about pure ghee? They said, what do you mean by pure ghee? We only have ghee. So pure ghee is needed in a society which adulterates everything. This has nothing to do with patriotism, okay? Please don't start like that. Don't start something else against Swami TV now. Okay? Therefore, this Paratma has come like that. You don't need Paratma. Atma is good enough. You see in Brahma Sutra, Athado Brahma Jignasa Adhikaranam. If you read a little, it is about what Brahma, the Sutra is Brahma. Athataha Brahma Jignasa, Brahmano Jignasa. And Brahma. And then suddenly Shankara says Atma. Then Nanu, you are talking about the Jignasa, the Vichara of the Brahma, and why you bring Atma now? Nanu, Purvapaksha. Then Shankara admonishes the guy, shut up. Atma hinama Brahma. Why do you raise such silly questions in the middle? Don't you know that Atma is same as Brahma? Now you know it. That is the ferocity with which he looks at Atma as Brahma. Look at this Shruti. I was, you see, my father was doing Sandhya Vandanam and I was doing something else. Then somebody came, Advaiti. Father is an Advaita scholar. Advaiti came. He came and did Namaskar. So, Shastri Garu, how are you? I am fine. Shastri Garu, one question is lingering in my mind. How can you say that Brahma is same as Atma? This is lingering in my mind. Can I ask you, My father, he was almost about to finish Sandhyavandanam. He said, yeah, you can ask all the question. Do you know Taittiriya Upanishad? You read it, I will see. So, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Paramevyoman So Oshnute Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti. Then, Tasmat Va Etasmad Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha. Tasmat means what? That is Sarvanama. Tasmat means Tasmat Brahmana. Etasmat, Tasmat, Etasmat, or Tasmat, Etasmat can be explained there itself. Atmana. Now, who said Brahma is same as Atma? I said or Shruti said? Shruti said. Why do you ask such a silly question? You have studied Shruti and still ask this silly question. Go and do your work. Don't disturb my Sandhyavandan. That is what he told him. So this way, Atma is good enough. You need not say Paramatma, Paramatma all the time. When you say Atma, that is Paramatma only. Oh, Paramatma hi hai. So you don't need this expression Parama. But people are people. There is the sense of division. And we are looking at Arambha. At the end we drop the Parama and make it Atma. Tattvamasi. But Arambha, so the Supreme Self, they call it differently. Every religion has the Supreme Self. They don't call it Supreme Self. Because if you say Supreme Self, somehow it is connected to the Self. Now or later, here or elsewhere, in this state or in a different state, somehow the Self is connected to the Supreme Self. Therefore, they don't want to call it the Supreme Self. They give another name. Somebody gives the name Vishnu, somebody gives Shiva. They were given by Shruti in a different meaning and a different context, but they adopted them for certain forms. And then somebody calls it Rama, somebody calls it Krishna, somebody calls it God in heaven, etc., etc. Somebody calls it Vaikuntha Narayana. Very cautious, Vaikuntha Narayana. Narayana is always in Vaikuntha, never elsewhere. He is in-house in Vaikuntha. On the earth, Rama or Krishna, not Narayana. Something like that. So, even the expression Supreme Self is that of Maharshi. It is the religionists, they don't call it the Supreme Self. If they said Paramatma somewhere, not knowing, not recognizing the expression in its full potential, they say it. They prefer to say it Ishvara or Parameshvara. They don't like this Paramatma that much. But in a flow they may end up saying Paramatma. But they mean the Paramatma is a distinct, separate entity and this pure Atma has nothing to do with it, it is separate. The division is complete. So it is like horse versus buffalo kind of a division. Ashvaha, Mahishaha. That kind of a division. That is how they look at it. Arambha. Then Jiva Jagat. Then Jiva Paramatma. And then Jagat. These are the three vertices. So all mata, it is based on explaining or describing these three basic principles. That is how the mata begins. You belong to some mata, Shaiva, Vaishnava, or whatever. There also you must have begun like this only. And there is no difference in any other mata. There is no difference. And therefore, you may not want to feel superiority or inferiority about any of these things. In India itself, if you start your journey from Kanyakumari, by the time you reach the Badrinath or Kedarnath, you must have come across 24 matas. They are all under the canopy of Hinduism. And then there are other matas. So matam samastam. So this way, when you look at religion in this way, this is how you look at religion. Then what happens? This my religion versus somebody else's religion. That division, that fragmentary thinking it takes a beating. It will be put to examination. And then it is something like my garden versus my neighbor's garden. What do you mean? What do you mean? It is the same earth. You put a fence in between. It is an artificial division, not real. And then it is the same Prithvi and plants and flowers and grass, this and that. Same thing it is, pretty much the same thing. My garden, neighbor's garden. Why to call it like that? Call it garden. Garden and garden. They are the same. No, my garden, neighbor's garden. My garden superior to neighbor's garden. What is this? How does it look like? It doesn't sound nice. It doesn't sound Vedantic. In fact, it sounds very un-Vedantic. So we have to rise above this fragmentary thinking. If I am sounding a bit odd for you, I cannot help it. I am sorry about it. But I sincerely feel that we should rise above fragmentary thinking. We have to look into the consciousness, the movement, inner movement, and then examine every element of fragmentary thinking. Every element. So, like, suppose you say I am a Dutchman. You have divided the humanity into Dutch and non-Dutch. Even while calling yourself a Dutchman, for a practical reason, if you call it, nothing wrong in it, but is it a fragmentary thinking coming from within? You have to examine that. If that is so, you have to grow a lot more. And certainly you are not a candidate for Vedanta. The candidate for Vedanta is Manushya. Manushya-adhikarat. Brahma Sutra. So Manushya is the candidate for Vedanta. Manushya. Human being, a beautiful expression. The being is Sat. It is Sadenvayam Somyadamagra Asit, Sat, being. But conditioned as a human body. Or being reflecting in a human body. Therefore human being. That is the starting point. That must be the starting point. A religionist cannot be a starting point. It is not a good starting point. You may still start there, provided you are willing to grow. But the human being, sir, aham manushyaha, manusyoham. So I want to know my true nature, Atma. That is the beginning of the true jijnasa. Sir, I am a Shaiva, I am a Vaishnava. I don't like these Shaivas at all. I want to know my Atma. Go and sit on the tree. You are not a candidate for Vedanta. Therefore, that broadness of understanding, rising above fragmentary thinking, this should go away. There is a name for this fragmentary thinking. You see, take the fragmentary thinking, which makes you think in terms of divisions. There is something in you which impels you to think fragmentarily. That's something. What is that? Aham matihi. Aham matihi. The me sense. Put a hyphen between. Don't say I. I is somewhat different. Sometimes you can say I sense also, provided you know the distinction clearly. But whereas if you say me, you see how crooked it is, me, how crooked it is. That is what we are looking at. The crooked, fragmentary, divisive, selfish. So, that egoic entity, that me sense, that me, what is the construct of that me? Why this me is so fragmentary in its movement? So you have to examine that. We will do it in the afternoon class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam